through their whole lifetime, because...
All right, okay, that works for me.
Boy, I can't wait to see Mrs. Jones lead us in yoga. She weighs like 450 pounds. If we get it down on the floor, it's going to take the whole class to get her up. It's going to be a real riot.
That would be really, really interesting. On the dodgeball front, Jenna says, well, they don't allow dodgeball in a lot of schools right now because it's just scary and violent. She gave me a New York Times article from a number of years ago. Listen to this. Listen to this. What was once shrugged off as a harmless game is now considered aggressive, unwholesome, and it causes injuries. And so a lot of school districts won't let you play dodgeball. I mean, the dodgeball pits teams of opposing players throwing balls at one another in a contest of elimination that makes everybody except the last guy feel bad. Sometimes the game is called bombardment. That's what we used to call it. It was great. Killer ball or even murder ball, that's a little over the edge, I think. But give me a break. Critics say it's something that just should not be used in today's classroom, especially in today's society. Well, I don't want to be throwing the dodgeball around in the classroom, but I want to be throwing it around in the gym or the playground. Keep these kids' feet to the fire. Keep them moving and exercising. Mandatory middle school gym, along with elementary school gym, ought to be kept by the Florida legislature. Really? All right, up next, Budman versus Rush Limbaugh on the issue of whether Marco Rubio should run for president in 2012. We disagree. I want you to call and tell me who's got it right. 729 on BHL.
This is a message for all men dealing with frequent urination. Every man who calls right now will learn how to try our best-selling supplement, Beta Prostate, for free. You'll only pay a small shipping and handling fee. Beta Prostate is made with a breakthrough ingredient, showing the support of strong urine flow. It reduces waking at night from the urge to urinate. Call now to learn about this Beta Prostate free bottle giveaway. Just call 1-800-816-9284. That's 1-800-816-9284. Thank you, America. For over 70 years, Geico has been saving people money on car insurance, and because of you, they've been the nation's fastest-growing car insurance company over the past 5 years. To show our appreciation, call within the next 15 minutes, and you could save hundreds on your car insurance. This is not a limited-time offer, and okay, actually, you could call whenever you like. But why are we even arguing about this, America? For a free rate quote, visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you hundreds on car insurance. Are you an experienced media salesperson who can create integrated solutions for advertisers? Clear Channel has a rare opening for an experienced salesperson with a passion and drive to exceed goals. Please call 407-916-8383. That's 407-916-8383. Clear Channel is an equal opportunity employer. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing better now. I'm on the channel talking to you. First thing I'd like to say, Mark, is I definitely appreciate you spending your time to be on the air to talk to people like me.
Justice for All with Mark Nation, Saturdays at 1. When you're at your best, your loved ones will notice.
I can't believe Grandma thinks I'm a funky chicken.
Actually, Greta, we know getting checkups, cancer screenings, and flu shots are simple things you need to do to stay healthy. That's why we stay in touch with phone calls and email reminders. Learn which health screenings can help you at humana.com/live-well-now or call 1-866-723-5337, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. This is an urgent alert from the lawn desk. It is time to stop that disrespect. Dollarweed is dissing you and your lawn and doesn't think you're going to do anything about it. But Dollarweed has got another thing coming, thanks to Scott's Bonus S. Bonus S is created to kill lawn-invading dollarweed, and nothing gets in its way. At the same time, Bonus S gives your lawn a deep Scott's feeding, so it will grow thick, strong, and beneficial. Don't make the mistake of getting one of those bargain brands which contain stuff like sand and sawdust, which doesn't do anything for your lawn. It only makes weeds laugh. You need Scott's Bonus S. Every granule is a combination of 100% food and dollarweed fighting power. So that smirk on dollarweed's face won't be there for long. While you're at it, teach those evil low-life fire ants a lesson they won't live long enough to forget. With Scott's Bonus S Max, it takes care of both fire ants and dollarweed. That concludes this lawn desk alert. Zone 35 continues with news from the Fox Orlando News Center on 540 WFLA.
Reported by Michelle Lamilla, 540 WFLA News. The church year
15. Police also worried there could be more victims. Her mom worked at Universal and was a church youth group volunteer, so they had a lot of access to kids. He's expected to be released this morning, but will be outfitted with a GPS tracking device. The state legislature votes to rewrite the rules for Florida teachers. Representative Will Weatherford says it'll change the way teachers are hired, fired, and compensated.
I fear the status quo. We cannot continue to be thankful and happy with the way that things are today.
Teachers with seniority would no longer be protected from layoffs. Salaries would be based in part on the performance of their students, and teachers would have to reapply for their jobs every year. Representative Rick President says it's a bad day for the profession.
This bill is nothing more than an attack on public school teachers. That's all it is. It attacks teachers, and maybe because they're the easiest target, or because they may belong to unions, or maybe it's because those who support this bill may not like teachers' politics.
Governor Rick Scott says he's ready to fight it. A Central Florida man accused of killing his roommate and drinking the man's blood has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Police say 33-year-old Mauricio Lopez fatally stabbed 32-year-old Macario Cruz in August of 2010. The case received national attention because Lopez supposedly drank a cup of Cruz's blood as part of a ritual. Florida Republicans still trying to figure out when to hold the presidential primary next year. It's too early. If it's too early, the National Party could punish the Sunshine State for trying to upstage the New Hampshire primary and the Iowa caucuses. But if Florida votes too late, the race may be over by then. So Senate President Mike Herzopoulos is aiming for number 5.
All we're asking for is after the less populated states, Nevada, South Carolina, Iowa, New Hampshire, made their decisions, we think we should watch the live there. That's our goal.
In sports, the UCF Knights rallied St. Bonaventure 69-54 in the first round of the College Basketball Invitational. 540 WFLA News Time 7:32. I'm Michelle Morello. Get these stories and more at 540WFLA.com. Coming up, more BHL.
Well, David Moss, that's finally Road Traffic Center. Westbound to I-4 with a slow ride as you make your way from Lake Mary Boulevard into Railroad. And moving up eastbound along I-4 from OBT through downtown. Starting to pick it up westbound along the 408 from D Road into Goldenrod. Also busy approaching I-4. No problems at the time in either direction of the Turnpike, and they are in good shape along 528. Although we do have some areas of patchy fog this morning, be sure to use some extra caution. From the Traffic Center, reporting for ICE.
Traffic on Air Online is service to Circle K. And Circle K's new takeaway cafe, get on your way with our premium coffees brewed every 30 minutes in glass pots with the freshest coffee going. Our premium coffees come in a variety of flavors, from our 100% Arabica house blend to hazelnut, or our French vanilla cappuccino with refills up to 24 ounces, just 99 cents every day. Circle K. What else do you need? Workers' compensation? Visit forthepeople.com. Morgan Morgan, for the people. From 540 WFLA Orlando's 24-hour weather channel, patchy fog in the usual spots this morning, but we're going to be clearing out and warming up big time today. The high temperature will climb to 85, sunny and mid-80s on Friday. Weather updated around the clock on 540 WFLA. After the dramatics, hit the weather channel. This man of illness with a certain individual. Bugman.
Your chance to referee a showdown between the Budman and El Rushbo over Marco Rubio and whether or not he ought to run for president in the upcoming 2012 election. I have said we don't need another president without the experience for the job. We've got one now, woefully unqualified for the job, lacking any kind of relevant experience to a great enough degree to make him presidential timber. But everybody got on the Obama Express and a little bit of time in the Senate, and bingo, he's running the country. Chris Christie, the great governor of New Jersey, everybody's trying to get him to run in 2012. He says, listen, I may run someday, and I believe I could win in 2012. He says, but I'm not ready. And we don't need a president who isn't ready. I haven't had enough experience that relates to this. I'm new to being the governor. Let me get some of that experience and then come see me. Marco Rubio, I think, has pretty much made it known that he wants to have the adequate experience, but he hasn't said he won't run in 2012. I don't think he should. I think this guy can be president of the United States if he stays on the right track and doesn't cave to other influences and stays rock-solid conservative in the United States Senate. I think he can be president. The guy's not even 40 years old yet, for goodness sakes. I don't think he should run in 2012. I still maintain that. Even though I can't find a superstar in the Republican field, I don't think there's enough experience with Marco Rubio yet. Okay? So I'm not backing him for that. But Rush wants him to run, and both of us were lit up by Rubio's bold statements about the debt and the dithering on the part of both parties and not dealing with that situation in Washington. All of that came down this week that we reported on, and Rush did as well, led Rush to say this.
In the meantime, Marco Rubio has had it, and it hasn't taken long for Marco Rubio to have had it. Marco Rubio says, what is this continuing resolution crap? I didn't come in here to fund the government every 2 to 3 weeks and cut $6 billion here, $6 billion there. What the hell is going on here? I wish the guy would run for president. Marco Rubio.
Okay, that's Rush. Who's got it right? I'm talking about 2012, and so is Rush. He thinks Rubio should run. I don't think he has the experience yet, and I think we see the ruin of a president without enough experience for the job. I want him to run for president if he stays on the track he's on, but I think 2012 is too early. Who's got it right, the Budman or Rush? I'm taking on the king of talk radio here, and I want to know where you stand. You are refereeing. Do you want Marco Rubio to run in 2012, or are you with Rush? Do you believe, yes, he may be presidential timber, but let's get this guy some rock-solid experience before we give him the highest office in the land? 407-916-5400. Toll free, 1-866-916-5400. I love Rubio this week, saying I didn't go to Washington to be part of some kind of a bizarre political theater when he talks around this nibbling around the edges with the debt and the continuing resolutions and on and on and on. Rush is right. He's been fantastic this week. It's like it's all of a sudden been his coming out party. He's vowed to vote against everything that comes through the Senate unless it deals with addressing the $14 trillion debt crisis. Let's get on the phones with you, the Budman and Rush, seeing it opposite directions, seeing it another way on Marco Rubio for president in 2012. Who's got it right, John?
Oh, I definitely think that Rush does here.
Help me out. Why?
Oh, because I think with, the more and more time you spend in the Senate, the more and more time you spend around politics, the more people get their hands in your pockets, the more they start pulling you around and you get attached to things that you don't want to be a part of. And I think Rubio's fresh, and I think Rubio's got a good head on his shoulders. The dude just got in, and he seems to be a pretty smart, pretty intelligent guy. He ran here in Florida, obviously. And
now let me ask you a question, John. Were you one of those, and I certainly was, who believed Barack Obama was a slick speaker, but he doesn't have enough experience? He'd been in the Senate such a short time, and he didn't have enough experience for this job.
Well, yeah, I do think.
Well, then why do you feel that Rubio's okay?
Well, because I think the reason that Obama won was because McCain's campaign was the worst campaign to be seen in 50 years. So it was either you're going to have John McCain or you're going to have someone who can communicate. But
I'm talking about the experience issue here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, but I just think that, my fear is always is that the more time you get in politics, is the more people can say, hey, jump on my bandwagon, and then you're kind of tied up, and you get into the office, and you're going, well, shoot, I got all these agendas I got to fulfill.
I see. Catch him early before he gets corrupted, and you've got the best of Marco Rubio. That's fascinating. David and Brad and the others, I want to hear from you. Stay on the line. We're going to do more on this on the phones. Who's got it right? Rush says he wants Rubio to run in 2012 for president. I say I want him to run for president, but he doesn't have enough experience yet. No 2012 for Rubio. Toll free, 1-866-916-5400. Lock in and we'll talk. 750, make that 742 on BHL, real-time traffic and weather now.